Hello. Okay, so in this video, I'm going to talk about how to add, update, and manage plugins. Created a simple default instance of WordPress for this. So as always, to log in, the default way to log in is wp-admin, appended to the end of your website. So let's try that. Okay. Okay, so here's where all the plugin magic is happening. And I only have 2 default plugins, so I'll log into my site, ShaneWebGuy.com. Now I've done a backup, and I highly recommend doing a backup prior to updating any plugins. And you can see here's where all the plugins that have updates. So I can click through. Before taking this action, recommends creating a restore. I've done that already. So we're up to date. Let me go through these real quick. Okay, so now when I go to the dashboard updates, the only 3 items that need updates are these 3 default themes. I'm not using those, so I'm going to skip that for now. Okay, so let's talk about installing plugins. So let's go back. So when we want to install plugins, there's 2 ways to do it. Let's go to the Add New. We can search for a plugin, and any of the free plugins, this is what I recommend. It'll be faster. Let's install Yoast in here. Install now. Then we'll have to activate it. Now, I don't know if you notice, now you can see that the SEO, Yoast SEO, has been activated in the menu. So depending on the plugin, some plugins actually add settings. Let's see here. You can see, look at the settings here versus the settings on my site. It's based on the plugins that have been added. So the other way to add a plugin is Add New. And this is one you've already downloaded from the internet. And normally these are paid plugins. So you browse. I already have Yoast installed, but basically you go like this, and the same idea. So you can cancel out of this. So now if we go back to our installed plugins, you'll see Yoast here, and then there's the settings right here. I'll get into Yoast for SEO in another video. So we've talked about adding plugins, updating plugins, and then let's look at how to delete plugins. Now keep in mind, when you delete a plugin, it could delete any of the data associated with it. So let's look at, but in this case it won't matter. Actions. Delete. Are you sure you want to delete the selected plugin? In this case, we do. Okay, and it's gone. Okay, so so we've covered how to delete plugins, add plugins, update plugins. Now let's talk about the basic plugin use. 1 second. Okay, another thing to keep in mind is how to implement the plugins once they've been installed within WordPress, and that's done through shortcodes. So this is my plugin, extremely outdated, and I'll talk about that in a second, but it kind of works. I'm able to filter down by various categories. And let me show you how to check for the two things to check for when you're looking for these plugins, just to validate their use. Hold on. Okay, so here's the three things you're looking at for a plugin. The last time it was updated. So this was 2 years ago. That's a little bit long. I like to see them within the last 6 months. The number of reviews, or the review score, and then the number of downloads. So if you look here, so let's look at come on, IMA Gravity Forms. I prefer Gravity Forms, but okay, let's look at this. So if you look at the active installations, 5 million, last updated 2 weeks ago, with a pretty good score. So the other thing to keep in mind with plugins, if you definitely do not want to overload your site with plugins, it'll slow down the site and cause and be a potential cause for breakage with plugin conflicts between all the different pieces of code. So I feel that I have probably the limit on my site. I've definitely removed some in the past, but I try to not use plugins at every turn if at all possible. So hope that helps. Thanks, guys.